Welcome to my Rotary Show, doing good and having fun. My name is Jamie Mick, past District Governor of District 6950, and I have with me today my two good friends, Paul Freelander and Eric Johnston, and they're making me laugh. It's really bad.
It's going to be a good show.
But it's going to be a great show. We're going to talk all about membership. But before we do that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the College on Legislation that was held at Rotary International this past April. Now, the College on Legislation meets every 3 years.
Yes.
And basically what they do is from the 537 districts around the world, they take, for lack of a better explanation, a bill, just like in Congress. We propose a bill, and all of the delegates then get to discuss, debate, and ultimately vote. Now, the first thing that I always think is so amazing about it is all those cultures and all those traditions around the world in one room, trying to make decisions about Rotary International. I don't know about you, but I think that would be pretty darn entertaining, actually. But it was really a really productive college this year. I was kind of surprised because usually they come out with a few things, but this year they came out with some pretty great changes. And many of us say, well, they're just solidifying what clubs already do, because a lot of clubs kind of push the envelope.
Right.
Do these things, some of these things already. But I think we have a little video, it's about 5 minutes long, that I wanted to show you that really kind of goes through the highlights of the college and lets you know some of the changes that your club can look forward to and actually enact in your bylaws. So if we can roll that footage, maybe? There we go.
Tape delay.
Hello, and thank you for watching this video regarding the 2016 Council on Legislation changes to allow for meeting flexibility. I'm Michelle Berg, Deputy General Secretary of Rotary International. In this video, we will explain how these changes made by the 2016 Council on Legislation give clubs the option to amend their bylaws to provide for greater meeting flexibility and frequency. And will provide specific examples of how clubs could implement these changes as part of its strategy to make Rotary more relevant to its current members and the business, professional, and community leaders they wish to attract. The 2016 Council on Legislation delegates overwhelmingly agreed that clubs should be given the option to amend their bylaws to vary the meeting days, times, whether to meet online or in person, and when to cancel a meeting, as long as they meet at least twice a month. The RI Board and Council delegates felt that individual clubs are in the best position to determine the best day and time to meet, change or cancel a meeting as the needs arise, use other measures of club health instead of or in addition to attendance, and to update the format of meetings to include electronic meetings, service projects, and social events in addition to or instead of a traditional club meeting. So what does this mean for clubs? Let's take a look at some examples. One Rotary Club chooses to amend their bylaws so that they may alternate between a morning and evening meeting every other week to accommodate their schedules of their existing and some prospective members. Another Rotary Club has chosen to cancel their next meeting because it conflicts with the local school band concert, which many members would like to attend. A third Rotary Club would like to meet more often and will adopt changes to their bylaws to meet twice per week in order to provide more service to their community and fellowship to their members. And another Rotary Club decides to amend their bylaws to meet just twice per month on the first and third Tuesday of each month, with social and service projects scheduled on occasion and promoted via their Facebook page and Twitter. Clubs are also now able to meet in person, online, or a combination of both formats. Here are a few examples of how Rotary clubs might implement this added flexibility. One club has decided to now meet online only for the second meeting of every month. Another Rotary club will now broadcast their meetings online so that members who cannot attend in person may still observe and participate. A third club agrees to hold one meeting per month in a relaxed atmosphere, such as a pub or restaurant, to encourage more fellowship and social interaction. A fourth club chooses to replace one meeting per month with a service project, like packing meals for the hungry, to engage members and their families. Following the decisions to grant all Rotary clubs more flexibility in how, when, and where they meet, The 2016 Council on Legislation also determined that it was no longer necessary to make a distinction between e-clubs and traditional clubs. E-club members have continuously and effectively provided outstanding Rotary service to their local and global communities while also giving their members excellent fellowship opportunities. Meanwhile, traditional Rotary clubs are increasingly using digital platforms in new ways to engage their members and their communities. While references to e-clubs have been removed from Rotary's bylaws and the standard Rotary Club Constitution, e-clubs may continue to name and brand themselves as e-clubs to emphasize that they meet exclusively or primarily online. Clubs may also relax or tighten attendance requirements and termination policies for non-attendance. However, clubs are still expected to forward attendance reports to the governor. While this flexibility is available to clubs if they choose to amend their bylaws, a club that wishes to continue to adhere to the traditional requirements regarding meeting format, frequency, and attendance may continue to do so. And while the 2016 council decisions provide clubs the option of greater flexibility in club meetings, they do not permit clubs to deviate from Rotary's most essential elements. Our qualifications of membership, who we are, business, professional, and community leaders remain unchanged, as do our values of fellowship, integrity, diversity, service, and leadership. These changes go into effect 1 July 2016, and clubs are encouraged to begin discussions with their members about what changes, if any, they may wish to pursue to make Rotary more relevant to current members and the business, professional, and community leaders they wish to attract. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about these important changes now available to Rotary clubs. If you have additional questions about these changes from the 2016 Council on Legislation, please write to us at membership.questions@rotary.org, and thank you for making membership a priority.
So rather than try to go through those with you all, I thought it was best to just show you the video that Rotary had already put together, which was pretty comprehensive.
Yep.
While you all were actually watching the video, we were talking about some of the clubs in our district that already do some of these things.
Yep.
They kind of switched it up a little bit. The St. Pete Sunset Club has been doing a lot of those things about different alternative ways of meeting, doing a service club project instead of an actual meeting. Really talking more about engagement rather than attendance, just showing up for a meeting, which is kind of the focus of membership now as we go forward. So I think that is really good. If you need any other information, feel free to give me a shout out and let me know. I'll be glad to send you those links that they showed at the end of the video. Or if you'd like to have that video for your club, for your board meeting, let me know as well, and I can send the link to you so you can actually show it. Now, something else I thought was really cool was Jennifer Jones, who is actually one of my, I have a girl crush on you, Jen, sorry. She's the vice president of Rotary this year, the second woman. She's from actually the Canadian district. And Jennifer was a director when I was coming in as a governor, so she helped to train me, came down quite a bit. And she is just a really phenomenal young professional that's out there really trying to give a fresh, new, vibrant face to Rotary. So she's talked John Germ into doing I don't think it took much talking because John's into Facebook and been very active on social media, but they're going to do an actual online chat on Facebook on this coming week, this coming Thursday at 10 a.m. Chicago time. So that's Central Time, an hour behind us here in the state of Florida. And there are already over 400 people that have RSVP'd on Facebook.
Nice.
I was like the 416th person. So I'm not sure how that's going to go with 400 people live chatting together. But one of the big things, if you follow Jennifer Jones on Facebook, one of the cool things she does is 100 acts of kindness. So it's been such things as simply opening a door for an elderly person coming out the door and telling them to have a good day and smiling, which I know both of you do already. I've seen you do it. To paying for the lunch when you're in line at McDonald's, pay for the guy behind you, pay for whoever's behind you, say I want to pay their lunch too. I mean, what's lunch at McDonald's? Less than $10.
Right.
So to pay somebody's lunch is kind of a cool thing. I did that for one of our Rotarian friends, for Angel Cook. She was in the car with with Taylor with her.
You and Taylor.
And they were on their way to dance. And I said to the girl, we were at Chick-fil-A, and I said, pay for her behind me. And she thought that was the coolest thing. And Taylor thought that was really cool that Jamie bought her dinner. But I think 100 acts of kindness. So if you go on Jennifer's Facebook page, she's actually recorded these, and some of them are kind of joggy little videos, but they really show Rotarians that she's visiting and some kind of act of kindness that they've done.
Nice.
So I thought it was really cool. Another webinar, which is very relevant to the fact that this is membership month, is on Wednesday, the 24th of August, also again at 11 o'clock Chicago time. And this one is about revitalizing and rethinking your Rotary Club. You know, we really don't think a lot of times about the product of Rotary we provide to our current members, as well as those that come to visit us. You know, what's it like at check-in? What's it like? What's the meal like? Is it a good meal, or is it, is it a rubber chicken? What's the speakers like? Are they good speakers? Because I don't know about you, but I pretty much block on Tuesday a 2-hour block. From 11:30 to 1:30 on Tuesdays is my Rotary. That's when my Rotary meets, and I know it's going to probably take that much time.
Right.
That's a big chunk of time in the middle of the day. Yep. So making sure that you've really made it worthwhile, but also asking your club members what they think. So they'll be doing that. If you go on Rotary.org and put in webinar membership, it will come up and you can actually RSVP for that. The last thing I wanted to talk about before we go to break is this year the district governors did a really cool thing. In Zone 34 and 33, they went to Jamaica and did a project together. And they actually, John Germ went down there, and I think, James, we have some pictures of them actually where they went. They went first to a hospital where they did the Cornwall Regional Hospital, and this services about 500,000 Jamaicans, and they actually brought with them a cataract machine so that they could actually do cataract surgeries to help restore people's sight, which I thought was really good. 21 of the 29 districts in our two zones, 33 and 34, participated in it, so that means 21 district governors were down there with John Germ. And then the second part of the project was they went to a child care facility called the Granville Girls Home, which houses 57 girls, which of course had some kind of sexual or domestic abuse of some type. There's some kind of trauma. And they actually made a tranquil area for them to just sit and meditate, be able to just enjoy the outdoors. They painted the benches, planted some plants and things like that. And then as part of the whole festivities, the 4 Jamaican clubs actually hosted them for a banquet at the very end. And I think we have a photograph of that as well, where John actually inducted those 21 governors as governors, because it was the first week of the year as Rotarians. And there they all are. And notice most of them have their all-star shoes on, which I didn't wear mine today. Shame on me. Sorry, Mike. But the all-stars, the idea is to wear your all-star shoes somewhere that all-star tennis shoes would not be appropriate. So someone says, why are you wearing all-star shoes? And then you can tell them about Rotary. Yep. So it's a little excuse or a way to lead into that. We're going to take a break right now, and then we'll come back. And these guys, we're going to talk about membership and what's going on this month of National Membership Month with Rotary International.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just 1 or 2 options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex. Short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
Young professionals and young people can find something in Rotary that makes so much sense for their existence.
One of my goals, and I think one of the goals of just younger people in general as we get into organizations like this, is to kind of diversify it.
There are a lot of people who have a lot to offer, but don't know an outlet for it, don't know where to put it, and this gives you access to everything.
I was just amazed at everything Rotary did and how much bigger than it was than what I thought it was, and so I wanted to join. I wanted to be a part of that.
You know, we laugh. It's a bunch of old guys that get together for lunch every week, and it's the furthest thing from that.
It's so much more than I originally thought it was. It wasn't just about making friends. It was about going out on a random Friday morning and helping to build a barn.
You know, we tend to be a little compartmentalized in our lives, and sometimes we forget people in our community who need help.
The face-to-face, the personal engagement with individuals and in the community is, you can't find that or replicate that elsewhere.
Whether we come from one walk of life or another, it transcends all of that because we come together in the name of service.
As a young professional, I just think it's one of the best things I could possibly have done.
Welcome back to my Rotary Show, doing good and having fun. So I have with me Eric Johnson. Eric is from the Wesley Chapel Noon Club, and he is the district membership chair this year. And my good buddy Paul Freelander from the Trinity Club. And Paul is the co-chair. Is that what you're doing? Co-chair?
Partner in crime.
Because it's about time for Eric to move on to other pastures. Yeah, at the end of this year, and so he's got to train Paul.
One more year.
One more year. Okay. So they're the dynamic duo, and I can't think of two better guys to talk about membership with. So let's talk a little bit about Bring a Friend. Now that's something that was developed here, I believe, within our zone, correct?
Yeah, the zone had the thought this year. You know, membership as a whole is a top priority for Rotary. And so Rotary International is encouraging clubs throughout the world to really start focusing on membership. And our zone had the idea for a Bring a Friend month because August throughout the world, as you mentioned, is focused on membership.
Right.
So our zone 33 and 34 from South Carolina all the way to the Caribbean is doing Bring a Friend month. But what we're doing with this month, we're doing a membership focus. And each week, we're encouraging all the clubs in our district to just spend 10 minutes, talk about membership, these different criteria that we've developed, and to encourage your club members to think about membership. Think of who they could invite. How are you presenting your club? All these different things. So the third week of August is our Bring a Friend week, where we are encouraging all of our clubs, all of our members, all 1,820 of you, to bring a friend. And so imagine what your club, imagine that club week next week, if everybody in the district brought somebody, it'd be a pretty fun week.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
Now you kind of actually mapped it out for them. So the first week they were supposed to focus on, I mean, I remember.
Attracting.
Right, and we got these little dots to put on our cell phones to remind us.
Zoom in on those dots
Yeah,
there.
to remind us to look at.
See the little red dot there?
To ask somebody to come and be a member of our club.
Right.
Yes.
So
Okay.
the breakdown was this. Each week, 10-minute focus. So the first week was attracting. And hopefully a lot of the clubs last week talked about who do we want to attract into our club to be a member of our club that's going to make a difference with our club. This week, the clubs are talking about presenting your club. And this is something that Jamie just touched on in the last segment. When that guest walks through your door, what's the first thing they're thinking about? That first impression is so important because in the first 30 seconds when they walk through that door, that's kind of what they're going to be feeling about your club, and they're going to be making that decision whether they're going to be visiting your club again or going to visit another club in that first 30 seconds when they're walking through that door. Yep. So it's so important to have that greeter. It's so important to when they check in, you take their name so that they know they're going to be introduced. There's a lot of things we can talk about that. But then the third week is the Bring a Friend week. And then the fourth week is going to be on engaging. Now, engaging the new members, but also engaging your current members, because it's so important to keep the Rotarians that have been there for 5, 10, 20 years, how do you keep them engaged in your club? And then the fourth week is on retaining those members. So there's a big difference between engaging and then retaining those members, because Rotary as a whole, we know also has a little bit of a problem with retaining members. So that's why Rotary International has stayed kind of stagnant at 1.2 members for the past 10 years. How do we get over that? How do we get people from just going out the back door? So retaining members is a big thing.
And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, James, we have a video that John Germ actually prepared to talk a little bit about membership, because it is definitely one of his focuses. So why don't we run that video right now, James, and then we'll go to break right after it.
My fellow Rotarians, when I accepted the invitation to join Rotary, I could not have known how that opportunity would change my life. Since then, I've extended that same privilege to friends and colleagues. It may have seemed like a small opportunity at the time, but for whatever reasons, for each of us, it also seemed like a good idea, an interesting chance to meet some good people and to do some good work and have some fun along the way. I've said many times that we need more willing hands, more caring hearts, and more bright minds to move our work forward. And now, the opportunities to be involved in Rotary are greater than ever, and our clubs have more flexibility than ever to determine the categories of membership they wish to offer, and when, where, and how the club chooses to meet. These options for additional flexibility empower our clubs to adapt to changing times, if necessary, and ensure we remain relevant in our second century of service. We are seeing encouraging signs of growth, but it depends on you to keep that momentum going. It's up to each of us to extend that life-changing invitation to our friends, colleagues, and leaders in our community. It's up to us to ask, and ask again, keeping in mind that when we ask someone to join Rotary, we're actually giving them an opportunity of a lifetime, an opportunity to change the world for the better, forever, through Rotary service to humanity. Thank you for being part of Rotary, and thank you for making membership a priority.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just 1 or 2 options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex. Short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
Isabelle Fontana. You may know me from the world of fashion, but I'm also a Hollywood ambassador for Rotary International.
I have decided to participate in this campaign because I am a mother and I'm very conscious about our future.
नाम क्या है? What is your name? Isabelle. अपना नाम बताओ. She's training with the song.
Well, I vaccinated a lot of children, and that for me was I felt it was the most important experience of my life, actually.
We're this close to making history. This close to changing the world.
Welcome back to my Rotary Show, doing good and having fun. And we just watched John Germ and his kind of little video there on membership. And we were talking about some of the resources that he mentioned.
Yes.
One of them was this Rotary Club health checkup, which used to be this very studious-looking form that they passed out to all the president-elects that they did. But now it's really very thorough, talks very much about how to just survey your club and go through it. It's fun, it's easy, it's very engaging when you look at the graphics and everything like that.
Yep.
And Eric had mentioned that he's going to actually go through this and use this as one of the support items at University 6950, but certainly something that you can source at Rotary.org now.
Yeah, and this particular document is brand new. It's only about a month and a half old from Rotary International.
Yep.
It's only in a PDF form.
Right.
They won't have the hard copies of it, so they can go to our website and search for Rotary Club Health Check and be able to download that health check. And we were saying earlier that we really encourage clubs to take the time to do this. Instead of just jetting down through a year, set aside a committee, 3 or 4 people that can go through this Rotary Club Health Check. There are amazing questions in there that you're asked, and it really opens your eyes up to how your club is functioning and how it's looking to your potential members. So we encourage you to take the time to do that.
Go ahead, Paul. I was going to say, here's the biggest challenge, and it's human nature, is it is a phenomenal resource, but I think a lot of us are just, we're apprehensive about finding out if there's anything wrong about our club. So it's like, well, but see, here's the thing. If you don't find out what's wrong, you can't fix it. And if you can't fix it, you can't grow. And when we're talking about membership month, you notice we call it membership month. We don't use the word drive. We're not talking, because drive means that probably we'll get them all in, and then next year they're not going to be around. We're talking about membership month, and yes, it would be really cool if 1,820 people brought a friend, and I think they all should. But we're not looking so much for continued growth. We're looking for continued growth with retention, as Eric mentioned earlier. So what becomes critical is the type of people. And I say that hesitantly because I don't want you to think we're an elitist organization, because by no means are we. And for anybody that remembers the Rotary International being a good old boys network, I come from a club that's 50-50 men and women, and that's probably got people in there that are older than I am, believe it or not, and some that are in their 20s. So it's gotten to be, as Jamie's mentioned a couple of times at the beginning of each show, as Eric's talking, it's gotten to be fun. It's fun. So don't be afraid to, I think like what they're both getting at, take a breath. If you go off track on your meetings for a couple of weeks, it's important to go off track for a few weeks to get your momentum back up again.
And I think the interesting thing, if you look at the real dynamic clubs in our district, and you both come from real dynamic clubs.
We do.
Membership isn't just a month. Membership is something that you think about all the time.
Yes.
I've been to different community events with both of you where there's been a new person who's come into town, and we're actually fighting over whose club they're going to come to visit. You got to think about membership all the time, and not just the month of August, not just on Tuesday at noon when I'm at Rotary, or Friday or Wednesday, but rather think about it every time you meet someone professionally, when you're doing business. Is this someone that you think might enjoy being part of Rotary? And we talk about what does Rotary have to offer, and it's really endless when you think about it. For a young professional, I mean, the ability to kind of learn some skills. Paul's Club does the new member fundraiser every year, which really teaches them, you know, how to raise money, how to ask businesses, how to work with the graphics,
And
how to organize, how to work together as a team, you know, how to work together with volunteers, which is much different than employees, whole different ball game. And so, I mean, I think that for young professionals, those are skills that they may not necessarily come in the door with.
Right. No.
And then, of course, the public speaking skills. You know, that's, you know, next to death, it's the second most common thing people are afraid of.
Yes.
Is public speaking. So those are all vocational skills that you learn in Rotary that really are a byproduct of doing good and having fun.
They are.
And so we have a lot to offer. And then we talked about, you know, Eric gets a lot of leads from Rotary International, but they have a great system now in which to delegate those leads. And we were talking about some of the information that they're able to provide and how to handle those leads. It's much better system than what we had a few years ago.
Oh, yes.
But that, you know, you're getting a lot of calls now or a lot of emails because people are relocating to Florida because they're retiring or they're working part-time. They're working remotely now because we're able to do that in our culture. And so they're looking for a Rotary Club in Florida because now they've purchased a home or a condo and they want to connect and continue their Rotary life. And so, again, for those folks, we have an opportunity to provide them, you know, that opportunity to continue. And they bring a lot to a club. We have a gentleman that joined our club, Paul Broom, who's from Kansas City, and he's been a Rotarian for over 30 years. And, you know, he comes to the table with a whole different experience, but yet not a whole different experience, and just brings a lot of fresh ideas to the table. So I think that's a really cool opportunity as well. That's why I say that it's really, the gamet's huge of what Rotary can provide. One of the other things we talked about was the brochure strengthening clubs, membership. Strengthening your membership, which again kind of walks you through a great resource, a redesigned new brochure that came out about a year and a half ago, I think. Part of the redesign of things. There's Marnie Nixon on the front. We all know Marnie. And when I teach RLI, this is something, when I do membership engagement, that I really try to make sure gets in everybody's hands, because this kind of is a pillar of strings of everything to do with membership and retention as well as attraction. So I think that was really good. Finding new members. Did you guys do the exercise where you had the form and you kind of wrote down the names of the people? Kind of think outside the box of the people. Actually, it was hard for me to think of people I do business with that aren't Rotarians. That's kind of hard because I do, again, byproduct of being in Rotary as a property manager, as a real estate broker, I do a lot of business with other Rotarians. I'd rather do business with them.
I think that we all have, in our circle of influence, we all have people that we know that would make great Rotarians. And that's what we're trying to do with this Bring a Friend next week. Just take 5 minutes, sit down, grab a sticky pad, and jot down a bunch of names of some friends that you know would make a great member of your club. And then, you know, shoot them off a text, Facebook message. Hey, Joe, next week we've got a great meeting that we're going on. Next week meeting is a program that focuses on your club and everything your club is doing. And it'll be a great time for that new, for that guest to really get a good feel for everything you're doing in your community. And one of the things that you talk about attracting new members, one of the things that I've been studying with Rotary and an idea that I came across was start doing community service projects that are family oriented.
Yes.
Because what's happening now is Rotary is encouraging clubs to get younger professionals. Well, with those younger professionals
comes family
and come children. And the parents want to influence those children in a way that they're teaching to be community minded, to how to give back. And so if your club is doing service projects that they can bring their family along, that is going to be a great way to engage those young professionals. And so that's just an
Your club
idea.
does that a lot because my direct report, Rob Syracuse, is a member of your club.
Right.
Has two children. I think they're probably 8 and 10, something around that age.
Yep.
And he brought them to a club project that you guys did, and he was telling the girls in the office about how your son wanted to know when the next time they were going to do this.
Yeah, and
his son really wanted to. He really got into it as far as getting involved and being of service to those less fortunate.
Right, and when the parents see their children getting excited about something like that, that is when you know you have full on, I'm in this club. This is for me. This is Rotary. This is teaching me to be a better person. This is teaching my children to be a better person.
It's really, again, the gamut is wide of what Rotary has to offer. And then you guys do quite a bit with families too. I know you do the picnic.
We do a picnic. You know, our service project, my year as president, was the West Pasco Little League fields. And we had a bunch of young kids out there helping paint and sweep and clean. And what's going on, right? It is important. It's important that you keep the family involved. And I think, again, two things that were just mentioned was service. That's what Rotary's about, service. And so you want to think of Rotary a little bit different than, in my opinion, than your traditional networking events that you might go to and things like that. This is networking that you can't put a price on the networking that Rotary provides, because networking that Rotary provides is your face out in the community. And your customers and or your potential customers are going to remember your face out in the community. That's what Rotary's about. Rotary's not about, hey, Eric, I'm Paul Friedlander. I work for the Chamber. Nice to meet you. Have you guys ever thought about becoming a Chamber member?
Right.
That's not what Rotary's about. Rotary's about Eric gets to know me as a person. I get to know Eric as a person. We get to know Jamie as a person. And the other stuff, I got to tell you something, the other stuff just happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
It just happens. It's so unique.
And I think it's, we have a friend, Tina Shelton, who just recently kind of got into real estate about almost a year ago. And she had a client that I referred to her from one of the associations I manage. And he actually Googled her online to see, who she was and everything. And of course, all of her community service came up online. And he actually said to her, clearly you're plugged into the community and know what's going on. Clearly you're going to be able to connect me with people to sell my property to. I'm giving you the listing. So her community involvement got her that listing agreement, which she wouldn't have had it not been for Rotary.
And a lot of times people miss that.
And we wouldn't be friends, she and I, if it hadn't been for Rotary in the Chamber. So again, she benefited from it, and now she's got people actually interested in the property because it's in the association where I manage.
Right.
So I'm aware of it because they're calling with questions. So I mean, there again, you just don't think how that service to the community, comes back. It does come back in so many different ways. But I think in the eyes of your children, when Rob was telling that story to the girls, the admins in our office, on the commercial side, I watched him and I thought, oh, he's drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
He'll be a Rotarian forever because those two kids got so into it, and so did his wife. And that's what's important. We talk about the induction ceremony, and we're actually going to have to take a break in a few seconds, but we come back, I want to talk a little bit about how can we make that induction ceremony a little bit more valuable, a little bit more, I don't want to say formal, but more impactful, and encompass all those folks. We're going to take a break right now, and we'll be right back to continue our talk on membership.
Clap your hands, let's take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? Cause every day is a new day. And everything's going your way. And you wanna make it last forever. We'll keep it together, cause it keeps getting better.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
We are this close.
We're this close.
We are this close. Of wanting to making history.
This close to changing the world.
We are this close.
This close. This close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease
Ever again.
This close.
We are this close to ending polio.
Ending polio.
All we need is you.
This close.
If we don't act now, we may lose this chance forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolionow.org.
Welcome back to my Rotary Show, doing good and having fun. So we were just talking about, Paul always laughs because I say it every single time, but that's what you're supposed to do, Paul.
I know.
Okay.
Proper.
So I've been properly trained. Thank you, Barbara. So we were talking about the induction ceremony, when we actually give them their pin and everything. And I was at a zone training with Art McQueen. And we were actually talking about inductions and how long we spend on it. And you know, some people spend literally 2 minutes inducting somebody. And that's it. They sit down. And so I think, well, if you only spend 2 minutes on inducting someone, how memorable do you think that's going to be for them?
Right.
So one of the things, a couple things he suggested was ask the person's employer to come to the meeting.
Yes.
Because, you know, obviously the employer benefits, you know, even as an independent contractor, you know, Dewey and Allen benefit, they're Rotarians too, but they benefit by me being in Rotary because I'm visible in the community and Berkshire Hathaway gets seen. And so they benefit from that. So why not have them come? If when I get a professional award from, you know, FIGCAR or IRM or CAI,
they come to that.
They come for those. So why wouldn't they come with me to come be inducted for Rotary?
Yeah.
Asking the family to be there, the spouse, significant other, the children, to be there and really welcome them into the family of that club, which I think, you know, we don't do that enough. I think of the members in my club, particularly the new ones, some of those, I have to tell you, I haven't met their spouse. I don't know. I don't know who their spouse is.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a shortness. You know, we should know that. They're part of our family now. And then really letting them talk about what they do, what their family is, where they come from. You know, really letting them, now some of them that scares the living, you know what, out of them, but really giving them an opportunity to talk about why they picked that club. You know, what was the really deciding factor? Because usually there is. Usually they visit more than one club. I mean, we have 6 clubs over here on the west side.
Yep.
Normally they visit a couple clubs before they pick a club. And so there's got to be a reason why they chose that particular club. Now, it might be something as trivial as, well, Tuesdays at noon is better for me than Fridays.
Well, yeah,
because Fridays I'm usually in St. Petersburg, you know, that type of thing. But, you know, let's find out, why did they choose that club? So I think making the induction, and Art is really going to go into that at University 6950 in the afternoon. He's really going to, and he's got a lot of great tools. He brought them with him to Zone when we were up there training, and he's got a lot of great tools So that would be a great thing for you all to sign up for. Notice how I keep plugging that University 6950.
Well, it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. I hope so. Anything else you want to talk about when it comes to membership? Anything else you want to make sure we cover? Obviously, lots of resources. We've kind of gone through quite a few resources to go through. Obviously, Eric is available. Paul is available. Myself as the district trainer. All three of us are here to help you get whatever you need to build your club. We'll help you do that.
A key thing you just hit on, and I let Eric, but the key thing you just hit on is the fact that we're not, you know, Eric may invite you to a meeting. I may invite you to a meeting. You may get referred by Rotary International. But when I joined the Rotary Club at Trinity, I had gone to 3 other meetings because my time was, at that point, my time was open. So I went to 2 breakfast meetings. Excuse me, 2 breakfast meetings with 2 different clubs, and I came to Trinity Rotary for 2 meetings. And unlike a BNI or something where you have to be there every week, you don't have to be there every week. But my feelings were, where would I miss? Where would I feel like I missed something if I couldn't be there on a Friday afternoon, or one was a Wednesday morning, one was a Thursday morning? And so I ended up, and it were 3 good friends that invited me to all 3 clubs. So you're going, but you know what? I went to the club where I felt the most comfortable. And you had said that. And that's what's important. And not just the most comfortable. I do miss a meeting when I can't be there on a Friday.
Yeah, if I can't be there because I've got an obligation with the district or with the zone, I feel unplugged. I'm always calling somebody going, okay, what went on? Did anything, do we need to do anything?
And you've got a club like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like missing. I could make one point too.
Sure.
If you asked, the one thing that came to my mind was it's so easy just to ask people.
Yeah.
And you got to keep it at the forefront of your mind, and then just make that ask. Get out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
And just, hey, do you want to come check out my Rotary Club?
Because
it's
sometimes
so
they're waiting
simple.
for you to ask them.
Right.
I had to ask someone
Yeah.
if I could come to the Holiday Rotary Club.
Yep.
Yes.
I actually, and Terry's not in the club anymore, she's moved away. But there were several people from the community in that club that I was in a networking group with. And I finally said to Terry one day, hey Terry, can I come to your Rotary Club? Because I really like to check out Rotary and see what it's like.
And
imagine.
there's so many people just like you that just haven't been asked.
Right.
And sometimes we think, oh, that person won't make a representative. That person won't. Don't judge them.
No.
Just ask them and let them make the decision if they're gonna. You're the conduit to get them there.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
it's so simple.
It's
you just got to
very.
get out of your comfort zone, shake your hand. Hey, come check out my club.
And there's great resources on Rotary.org for a club brochure. I actually did ours to kind of design a little brochure. It's all the templates right there. It's very easy to do. And then even taking that business card online there at the branding center and turning it into an invite. Making it 2-sided, much like what your club had done. So we did the same thing. So that way members had an easy way to say, well, if I'm at a chamber networking or a BNI or something, here's one of my cards, just bring it with you, and lunch is on me. And come and check our Rotary Club out. Okay? It may not be for them, and that's okay.
Right. Exactly.
That's okay. But gosh, wouldn't you feel silly if you passed up the opportunity for a really dynamic member to be part of your club?
Yep.
I think that's really what we're all kind of pushing is that, think outside the box and don't be afraid to ask.
Yep.
Jamie, can I ask you a question before you go on? You
Sure.
had mentioned, you had told earlier in the show about checking out Jennifer Jones on Facebook.
Yes.
And just out of curiosity, I'm assuming Jennifer Jones is probably a fairly common name. Is there a particular way to find her on Facebook?
If you actually put Jennifer Jones in, and then probably want to look for one that says she is a director, so Rotary Director.
Okay.
So when you look in that description, kind of the bottom part that's underneath, it'll have the person's name, and then it's kind of lighter colored. You want to make sure that it's the one that says, good point, that says Zone Director, Rotary Zone Director. But she's a little blonde lady.
Okay.
And I don't think she's 120 pounds soaking wet, but she's a Spitfire, let me tell you. And one person at Assembly when we were training as governors, she was the woman that made my husband cry. And for a Navy SEAL to cry, that was quite a feat for her to do. But she's the lady that told the story about the water project. And the elder who said, I don't remember when you came, I just remember when the babies stopped dying.
Wow.
And that was her club that did that project. And that was when Rod really got what Rotary was all about. He was overwhelmed by, of course, the presence of all that we had gone through that week, but she was one of the last speakers on Friday. And she really drove it home, and that connected the dots.
Nice.
And still does to this day. Whenever I say we're going to do this, he's like, okay, then I'll be there. And he's always right there,
Yes.
ready to go. But before we go, I want to talk about two things. One is the district conference, because I promised, and it's going to be a very exciting district conference down at the Marriott at the Tampa International Airport. We're starting that on June 8th in 2017. Registration opens up on that Thursday afternoon, and then that night is the Sauce Boss, which I don't know if you guys have heard him, but he plays a lot of blues. He's from Jacksonville, and he cooks gumbo. Typically, the gumbo that he cooks, he serves to the homeless, but this time he's going to serve it to District 6950 attendees. There'll also be a buffet dinner there, so it won't just be gumbo if that's not your thing. And he'll play for us for about an hour and a half.
Nice.
And Michael will be giving out, District Governor Mike will be giving out some awards that night. He's going to spread them all out. Friday are all the preliminary sessions. Lunch, we have a special guest speaker, which I still can't announce because we haven't gotten it confirmed yet, but you don't want to miss that. And then the Governor's Gala on Friday night. And it's a real gala. We have a band. We have one of the Rotary bands, hopefully from the district. There's one in Hillsborough that plays, as well as one from the Southern District in Sarasota. So I've kind of put a call out to either one of them, whoever answers first. But there'll be a dance floor and everything.
Nice.
And there may be a certain past district governor and her partner that perform at that as well. So stay tuned. We'll see if Governor Michael wants us to do that. But that will be a real gala. And then Saturday is our travel day to the Rotary International 100th anniversary of the Rotary International Foundation. But the convention in Atlanta, Georgia, you don't want to miss that, guys. It is going to be an unbelievable convention for us as Rotarians, particularly because it's in our zone.
Yep.
And so then we'll spend a couple days there. Wednesday is closing ceremonies and the birthday party, which we have over, I think they've picked a venue where there could be thousands of people because everybody wanted to be part of that celebration. If you go to www.riconvention.org, you can sign up for the Rotary International Convention now. Shortly, very shortly, you should see on the district website the sign up for the district conference, which is coming up right before then. And then, of course, I would not be doing my job as district trainer if I did not remind you, sign up for University 6950. This is, I will proudly say, the most phenomenal training event I've ever put together. And I'm not doing it alone. I have help from deans. We're calling them the chair people deans. So Dean Eric is here for membership.
That'll scare my parents.
The Dean of Foundation, Jared Brown, and the Dean of Public Image, Miss Takoa Bean. And then the Dean of General Studies, Eloy Nunez, is going to be handling that. So everything you ever wanted to know or need to do your job as a leader in Rotary or as a general Rotarian, stay tuned because that will all be up there for you to sign up for. And the cost is very nominal, about $35. So very nominal. And of course, it is the home of, Marchman is the home of the culinary school here on the west side of Pasco. And there are some good food to be had over there. So for the food alone, it's worth the $35.
Yes, it is.
To come and have breakfast and lunch with us and phenomenal desserts. And we'll also have a little graduation ceremony when all is said and done. But great speakers. All of the zone folks are coming.
Awesome.
We have people from Foundation, from membership, public image, even general studies. Rotaract Summit is going to be happening as well. So, I mean, it is a pretty 14 classrooms full of learning going on. So I encourage you to stay tuned and look at that. Anything else? Any final thoughts before we say goodnight, goodbye?
Make sure you get signed up for the university because it will be a phenomenal day.
Yeah, make Paul's other job as registrar easy.
Please, early and often.
Yes, early and often.
And pay.
And Eric, anything on your side?
We're good.
Okay.
Bring a friend next week.
There you go.
So we will see you next week. This is Jamie Mick, my Rotary Show, doing good and having fun.